Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I was stretching while I said
Yeah,
it.
why did that sound so pained?
I was stretching. It's fine.
You didn't have to start it at the exact moment you were stretching.
The show starts when it starts, Mel. Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club.
Where we don't control the rules, apparently.
I'm Mike.
I'm not.
And this is how the show starts.
Play the opening.
Oh, friend, my friend, 心に咲いた花は my friend. 空にかざす雲は桜色に染まり蘇る記憶と感情幼い頃君と歩いた道今でも変わらず僕の胸締め付けるよ不器用だったところはどうしようもなくて思い伝えられないまま過ぎゆく時に埋もれ Oh friend, my friend 届きそうだけれど my friend
It's Blue Dragon.
A series I know very little about.
Did you like the song?
No,
No? I thought it was alright.
I didn't care for it.
It's by Keita Tachibana, apparently, a musician and actor. That's it, really. I thought it was alright.
I just thought it was a little boring.
It was a little boring. It was a little generic.
It was a little boring, and it never really got into like a good hook. It felt almost like it didn't really have a melody.
So, Blue Dragon, did you ever play it?
No, that's why I said I know very little about it.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you'd played the first one or not.
No.
That's going to make this interesting to talk about.
You mean like it was interesting to watch?
It was certainly something.
Uh-huh.
Mel has no experience with Blue Dragon. I have some. I finished the first game and I loved it. It's one of my favorite RPGs, probably. And I've played a little bit of the second game, and I didn't know there was a third game until I was researching this.
What a way to find out.
Yeah. So Blue Dragon, the first game was released in 2006, exclusively for the Xbox 360. It is made by Mistwalker, who are known for Ash, Archaic Sealed Heat, Lost Odyssey, The Last Story, and the Terra Battle series. I've heard of most of those. I've never heard of Terra Battle, but there's a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also co-developed by Artoon, who I'm more familiar with. They made Blinks the Time Sweeper. Remember that guy?
The cat?
Yeah!
I remember him.
They also made Yoshi's Island DS, Fling Smash, and they worked on The Last Story with Mistwalker as well.
Cool.
And the game was published by Microsoft. It was part of a push by Microsoft to drive Xbox sales in Japan. So they sold it as a bundle with the console over there. Didn't really work.
Japan never really quite took to the 360, but...
No, by 2011, many retailers in Japan were no longer stocking 360 games. So... And I don't think Microsoft really... I think this failed, and then I don't think they really tried that much afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't remember there being a lot of... Like, generally, if you wanted to be playing Japan-made games, you wanted to get the PS3.
Yeah. I feel like the type of games that the 360 was known for was just like a lot of first-person shooters, and Japanese in general don't really care for those.
No. And a lot of stuff like Assassin's Creed as well. I feel when I think of the Xbox, I think of first-person shooters and Ubisoft tower climbing simulators.
Yeah.
And then like pretty much anything. Definitely towards the end of the lifespan of those consoles, anything that was like explicitly Japanese or RPG would have been on the PlayStation rather than the 360.
Yeah.
Maybe ported to the 360. Maybe you'd get a 360 version that didn't quite run as well because it was optimized for the PS3.
I wonder how much of that comes from the fact that Japanese just tend to not handle the camera angles and stuff, or not angles, but the camera motion as well. Like, I read something a while ago that Japanese are more likely to get, like, motion sickness from playing certain games.
I've heard that as well, yeah.
Like, they had to completely redo how the camera worked in the Spyro series because they were getting sick from it.
Huh. Wonder why that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because now that you mention it, a lot of the Japanese platformers, they don't tend to give you as much control over the camera as a lot of the Western ones do. Like, you play the Sonic games, the camera is designed to point you where you're supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to point it anywhere else, it's a fight. Whereas I feel like with like a Banjo-Kazooie, you pretty much have free reign of the camera all the time.
You can rotate that camera into the ground.
Yeah. Even like Mario 64 was you could point the camera in 4 directions, and if you wanted it more accurate than that, too bad.
The nightmares of rotating that camera around and hearing it honk at you.
Burp, burp.
I just want to see what I'm doing, Mario.
I just want the thin platform you want me to walk along to be a straight line.
Not a diagonal bullshit line.
So Mistwalker was founded in Hawaii, apparently. I didn't know this.
Ooh.
Based in Hawaii, founded by Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi. I guess he just, he made a lot of money doing Final Fantasy, and then he was like, I'm gonna live in Hawaii now.
I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's my dream. Yeah, he wrote the story for Blue Dragon, and I talked to you about this when I discovered it, because I've realized recently that I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy in general. I am just a fan of Hironobu Sakaguchi's writing. Because he wrote the first 7 Final Fantasy games and Final Fantasy 9. So he didn't write 8 and he didn't write anything after 9. That is all of the Final Fantasy games that I like.
Yeah.
I don't really like 8. I think it's too confusing. And then everything after 9, I'm kind of like, this is when it got dumb.
This is the hallway simulator era.
Yeah, and then when I found out, I looked him up, because that's what it was. I was thinking, like, I don't like the guy who writes these newer ones. Who wrote the ones I did like? And I looked it up, and that's when I realized he's also the guy who wrote Blue Dragon, which I also love. So I should check out more games that he's written.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and the character designs in this game were by Akira Toriyama. This is why this game was in my mind, because Akira Toriyama passed recently, which is very sad. I am not super familiar with too much of his work. I've read the first 3 volumes of Dragon Ball, and I've seen the first episode of Dragon Ball Z. But what I am very familiar with his work on is
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, his character designs for Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest, and this, which I love. His monster designs are fantastic.
Yeah.
And the music for Blue Dragon is by Nobuo Uematsu, best known for the Final Fantasy series. Although when I looked him up, it turns out he pretty much just writes like 1 song for each game now.
He's still got his thumb in the pie, but
yeah, he's still the Final Fantasy music guy, but he just writes the main theme song for each game now and then moves on, which is good.
He blessed us with the early work, so he doesn't need to be writing everyone to be the Final Fantasy music guy.
That's true. He did the main theme song to Smash Brothers Brawl as well. Did you know that?
You probably told me.
The one that has all the Latin singing in it for some reason. That was him.
Latin singing.
It's I don't know, maybe. I didn't look that deep. It's funny. Like, that's a good song, but I always thought it's so weird as the main theme of a Smash Brothers game.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't fit to me.
It feels a little too big and epic.
Little too grandiose, yeah.
Yeah.
For the silly game that Smash Brothers is.
For a game about Mario and Yoshi punching each other.
Yeah. It's a good song. It might be my least favorite of the Smash Brothers themes, just as a Smash Brothers theme, but anyway, so Mistwalker did the design work for Blue Dragon, but the programming was done by Artoon.
D-Tune?
Artoon D-Tune. You're stupid.
You're stupid.
Artoon is a studio founded by Naoto Oshima. Do you know that name?
No, not off the top of my head.
He is best known as the guy who designed Sonic the Hedgehog.
Why is Sonic always here?
He also designed Knights from Nights into Dreams, and, well, you know, and a lot of other characters for these franchises. You know who else he designed?
Who?
Balan.
Of course. Your boyfriend.
When it doesn't come back to Sonic, it comes back to Balan Wonderworld.
Because you just want to hurt me. I've told you many times that I don't want Sonic to be a part of everything. Starts getting a little weird. I feel a little excluded.
All I remember is that there's a correlation between you and Sonic. Yeah, so he founded Artoon in 1999 when he left Sega, which will have been just after Sonic Adventure, I think. Artoon was later bought by AQ Interactive and then closed down when AQ Interactive went bankrupt.
What?
I hate big companies who buy other companies and then just close them.
Yeah.
But Artoon kind of lives on because the staff formed a new studio called Arzest, which is where they made Balan Wonderworld and various other things.
Everyone's favorite game, Balan Wonderworld.
I think that Balan Wonderworld being bad was more Square's fault than it was Arzest's, but
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying it wasn't a good game.
they also made Sonic Superstars, which I enjoyed, so you were there for that. You were around while I was playing that game.
Instrumental in that.
Oh yeah, you bought it for me. I forgot that detail. This show was actually announced before the game came out, but it aired for the first time on April 7th, 2007, which was exactly 4 months after the game was released.
Cool.
And it aired on TV Tokyo, which aired a lot of the things we've talked about. They aired Pokemon, F-Zero, Yokai Watch, Beautiful Joe, Virtua Fighter. They're all over our podcast history.
Stinking up the place.
This show had 51 episodes, which is a fairly standard number of episodes for an anime.
Mm-hmm.
And it was made by Piero. We've talked about them before because they made that Sonic OVA.
Oh, yeah.
The 2-episode Sonic OVA.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's the only thing that we've talked about that they've done so far, I think. This was written by Akatsuki Yamatoya, known for his work on Digimon Adventure, .hack//Legend of the Twilight, Naruto, various Super Sentai shows, and the Parappa the Rapper show.
Oh no!
It's so weird. Maybe other episodes of Parappa are good. I don't know. Maybe we just watched. Maybe the first one just was boring.
Didn't the artist who drew Parappa and everybody say the show sucked?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. We keep finding out that these like really accomplished writers of great shows worked on it. And I'm like, how did this happen?
You're telling me you've never made something really dumpy and bad and somebody has accidentally loved it?
No, I feel like it has to have been like they hired all these really good artists, but there were demands from the top that were forcing them to make it bad, right? Has to have been.
I mean, they did want them to cater to a younger audience, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But then why hire these people who are known for writing all these... I don't know.
Probably because they're like, oh, that's a famous writer. Let's have him write a children's show.
Yeah.
It will make the next Teletubbies.
That's probably... Yeah. Because just because you're really good at writing something for, like, the 10 to 15-year-old audience doesn't mean you're going to know how to write something for 5-year-olds, I guess. Right. Anyway, this episode is called Shadow Activated.
Oh, no!
Mel, I'm going to give you a little bit of information up front.
Yeah?
This show has a bunch of characters in it from Blue Dragon who look like characters from Blue Dragon and have the same names as characters from Blue Dragon. And aside from that, it has absolutely nothing to do with the game Blue Dragon.
Okay.
So, if you're looking at this show and you think you have any idea what the plot of Blue Dragon is about, put that out of your head, because this is in no way related to the plot of the video game Blue Dragon.
Let me just say up front that I'm relieved. That actually reinvigorates my interest in Blue Dragon, because watching this, I was like, I don't know if I care about this.
Yes, I was actually thinking, like, Mel's gonna watch this show and be like, this is the game Mike loves?
That's exactly my thoughts, yeah.
So this show opens with some kind of, like, creationist narration.
Yeah!
It's explaining how God created the light and the darkness and the humans were fighting over it or something. I like how the mural can be viewed either way up and it, like, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, like, light on the top and then the shadow from the light on the bottom mirrored. I don't remember there being any God stuff in the game. It was very much like ancient technology stuff in the game.
Yeah.
It's all like an ancient civilization whose technology is left behind. And I feel like anything that's attributed to gods by the people is actually, like, misattributed, and it was actually this ancient culture that made it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something I find interesting. I love stuff where it's, like, uncovering ancient advanced technology from another culture. That's basically what Grandia is about too, which is another one of my favorite RPGs.
What about Mass Effect? That's a thing.
Yeah, Mass Effect. Also one of my favorite RPGs. So right off the bat, we open with Zola and Jiro riding birds.
Chocobos, if you will.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if these were actually, like, enemies from the game, and Blue Dragon is not very well documented on the internet. There's lists of enemies, but no pictures.
That's wild.
Yeah, so if anybody out there remembers if these funny blue chocobos are actually a creature from the game, let us know, because I couldn't remember, and I couldn't find anything online.
I bet when this game first came out, there was a wildly detailed fan site out there somewhere, and now we'll never find it with search engine optimization.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it wasn't super easy to get screenshots onto the computer, so...
That's true.
So those sites probably are still out there somewhere, but they may not have any pictures that aren't, like, taken from marketing materials.
Taken with their flip phone from their TV.
Yeah, with their 2006 digital camera. And then scanned in.
I lived during that time. That was me. I did that a few times.
Yeah. So yeah, this immediately threw me off because in the game, Zola's the first character who has a line in this show. Mm-hmm. I actually went and checked a playthrough that was online. Somebody had uploaded the game in 40-minute increments.
Mm-hmm.
And Zola makes her first appearance in part 12.
I had the feeling when she appeared that she wasn't going to be an early show character. She just looks like somebody that you run into halfway through the story.
That's exactly what she is. She's the last party member that you get in the game of 5. So, yeah, I was very surprised to see her here. Even more surprised to see her with Jiro, who is in your party from the beginning and has no particular connection to Zola in the game at all. Yeah, the game. So let me explain to you how the game opens. The game starts in medias res with Shu, Kluk, and Jiro as 3 childhood best friends who are setting a trap for something called the land shark, which has been attacking their village every year for the past 10 years. It killed both Shu and Kluk's parents, we're told.
Jeez.
And they're trying to get revenge. And Jiro, his parents are still alive, but he's helping them to support his best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Very different from how this starts. But, you know. Zola, by the way, played in Japanese by Romy Park, who is known as Ken in Digimon Adventure 02. She was Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist, Toshiro in Bleach, and Akane in Danganronpa.
Okay.
And then in English, Zola is played by Cindy Robinson. The only actor in this show in either language to be reprising her role from the game.
Interesting.
Yeah, she played Zola in the game and in the show, but nobody else in this show. Even in the Japanese version, which is strange.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like it was so different from the game. They're like, these aren't even the same characters. Get new voices.
Yeah, very weird. But Cindy Robinson, I knew I recognized the name, and she is the current voice of Amy Rose, which she's been since 2010.
Always with the Sonic.
So we are introduced to Nene.
Yes, we are.
Nene is played by Shiro Saito in the Japanese version, who is known for playing Inspector Kelme in Professor Layton, Sorube in Dragon Ball, Gondo in Ghost in the Shell, and is the Japanese voice of Biff Tannen from Back to the Future.
Cool.
And in English, he is played by David Lodge, who plays Jiraiya in Naruto, Kenpachi in Bleach, Tenderheart Bear in the 2012 Care Bears reboot.
Why did you put that on the list?
It's funny. And also, he's the voice of the captain in Monster Hunter World.
Oh.
Yeah, so we've been hearing him a bunch.
The old man?
Yeah. So Nene has a little frog-like sidekick that sits on his shoulder. Do you like that guy?
No. I like his design. Do I like his character? No.
Yeah. His name is Deathroy.
He just kind of exists to repeat what Nene says.
Yeah, he's played by Yuji Ueda, who we've spoken about before.
Who?
Would you have a guess as to who he might have played in the past?
Nope, because I've already forgotten what his voice sounded like.
Well, it's a high-pitched, scratchy voice provided by the guy who plays Brock in Pokemon.
Oh, hold on, let me guess. Brock from Pokemon?
That's the one. In English, Deathroy is played by Matt Williams, who seems to be best known as the writer of the 2019 Dark Crystal revival.
Interesting.
He also played Rick in Rick and Steve, the happiest gay couple in all the world.
Okay.
So yeah, Nene is here. He's talking to General Zabo about the progress of their invasion, I guess.
Of their child kidnapping ring?
Yeah. General Zabo is played by Akimitsu Takase, who played the Huntsman in Monster Hunter World.
Another old man.
He's also Kaiser in Naruto and Darius in Attack on Titan. In English, Zabo is played by Kim Strauss, who played Silent Ku, one of Zabo's subordinates in the game.
Oh, okay.
There's a few things like this where I don't know if Silent Ku appears in the show or not, but there are a few things where
We have Zabo at home.
Yeah. There are a few things where it's like people who were in the game, but just not as this character.
Yeah.
It's strange. He also played Ninja, Scorpius, and Jinxa in Power Rangers, and Ibiki in Naruto. Zabo tells Nene that their conquest is proceeding smoothly. Zabo, by the way, one of my favorite character designs in the game. I am sad that he's barely in this episode, but
yeah,
he's a good robot. I love robots.
I know that about you, you freak.
Nene asks for all the children who received blessings of the darkness to be brought to him, whatever that means.
Right. It's not made clear in any sense.
It makes sense to me having played the game, but it's a very different MO. It seems like he's working towards the same end game as he was in the game, but he's going about it differently. So, spoilers for the game, everybody. No, should I not give spoilers for the game?
I don't know. How easy is it to acquire this game nowadays?
I'm gonna try not to give spoilers for the game. You can get it still for Xbox as a download, and if you are interested, you should play it. So Nene looks pretty different here than he does at the start of the game.
Yeah.
This is kind of like midway between how he looked in the past and how he looks when you meet him. I'm gonna find a picture of how he looks at the start of the game so I can show you.
He looks like such a gentle old man.
I know. Yeah, he's a wrinkly old man with glasses who's all hunched over when you meet him in the game.
Leaning sagely on a walking stick.
Yeah, and he does look quite sweet.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the juxtaposition when you speak to him, because he does seem quite friendly at first, but he's the one who's been controlling the land shark that attacks them once a year. Then you ask him why he did it, and he's just like, I wanted to hear your screams.
Shits and giggles, my boy. Shits and giggles.
So yeah, anyway, this is where we finally meet Shu, the main character. And he is excited because his friend Kluk has just told him that a Nightmaster is coming to their village.
What's a Nightmaster? I don't know. They don't tell us.
I don't know either, because it's not a thing from the game. Shu is played by Keiko Nemoto, who did not play Shu in the game, but did play bass in Mega Man Battle Network, and Mokujin in Tekken Blood Vengeance, Shizune in Naruto, Roxy in the Japanese version of Dead End Paranormal Park, Baljeet in the Japanese version of Phineas and Ferb. In English, Shu is played by Yuri Lowenthal. What is it with... Why do so many of these things have a woman play the main character in the Japanese version and then they get a man to do it for the English version?
Why is it always Yuri Lowenthal?
I don't think we've actually talked about him before, but he is in everything.
Yeah, I've heard that name a million times. Anytime I try to look up a voice, I'm like, it's him again!
Yep. Yeah, he's... I have a small list of names here. He's Sasuke in Naruto. He's Teenage Ben 10. He's the Prince of Persia. He's Luca in Bayonetta. He's Spider-Man in the PlayStation Spider-Man games. He's Doug in Rune Factory 4 and 5.
Doug!
Yeah, I don't know who Doug is, but I figured you would.
I know, Doug. I got nothing against Doug. He's alright.
Okay. And Kluk is played in Japanese by Erino Hazuki, who had a very small list of things, and I didn't know what any of them were. The most recurring thing was that she plays Akari in the Aria series, which I don't know what it is. And Michelle Ruff is the English voice. She played Rukia in Bleach, Fujiko in a bunch of the Lupin the Third things, Luna in some of the newer Sailor Moon stuff. She was Mayday in Across the Spider-Verse, Peter Parker's baby.
Uh-huh.
And she's the current voice of Cream the Rabbit.
There it is.
I can't help it.
You can. You very easily can.
I didn't hire her for this, or Cream the Rabbit. I don't even like
But
her
you-
as Cream the Rabbit.
But you put her on the list.
Well, it's a well-known thing. She's been playing Cream the Rabbit for like 15 years. So yeah, Kluke, for some reason, has had her outfit changed to a different color.
So it's the same outfit, but a different color?
Yeah, she's wearing pink here for some reason. In the game, it's exactly the same outfit, but all of the pink is black instead.
Well, we need her to be the girl one. It's not enough that she's the girl. She has to be the girl one.
Yeah, we got to put her in pink. Otherwise, how would people know?
I mean, she built the bike that she's riding. That makes her a little too close to a boy.
Yeah, this Dragon Ball ass hover bike,
Yeah.
which, as far as I remember, does not exist in the game at all. Just for reference.
There was a lot in this show that felt like it was really mishmashing like ancient technology with future technology, and it didn't feel good to my brain.
No, it's as somebody who played the game, it's weird as well. It's weird that Kluke would have made this bike because in the game she knows a lot about medicine, but like making a bike, I would say would be more of a thing that Jiro would do.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very strange. And then there's these three extra kids here hanging out with them. Don't exist in the game. They're just here for the show.
I can tell. Yeah, they don't add anything to the story.
They are here purely just to show us that Shu is more skilled than his peers, really, I think.
That's exactly what it is. It's for that one scene to let
Yeah.
us know that Shu is the biggest, strongest little boy.
Yeah, where they are traversing the countryside, and one by one he leaves his friends behind as they can't quite pull off the fancy parkour that he's doing.
They can't pass the skill check.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's all they're here for. They didn't even deserve names. They're just here for that.
I'm honestly surprised that the bad guys bothered to kidnap them.
What are the odds that they ever show up again?
Slim to none.
So Shu, in the show, desperately wants to become the page of a Night Master. In the game, he just wants to protect his village. That's his whole thing. His village has been attacked consistently once a year for 10 years, and he wants to put a stop to it.
I'm just so confused by this adaptation. I'm just trying to process the differences that you're presenting to me.
I know. I don't understand either. I don't I don't know why it's this. So Shu is just wandering the town, looking for any strangers so that he can club them.
Right, because nobody knows what the Nightmaster looks like, and his idea for discerning who is the Nightmaster is seeing who can parry off his surprise attack.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of an obnoxious shit in this.
Yeah. He's a little bit obnoxious in the game, but his obnoxiousness just comes from his confidence in himself, which is not
Right.
always earned. He's very much of the opinion that if he just believes in himself enough and refuses to give up, then he'll get through. And I guess it usually works.
It's the heart of the cards principle.
Yeah. Like, I watched the beginning of the game again to remind myself that it wasn't this.
Yeah.
And there's a part when they have made it to Nene's flying fortress. This is right at the very beginning of the game. And they are cast out of it by Nene. And as they're falling, he like screams he won't give up. And then they mysteriously float back up to the fortress. And as his friends are like, what's going on? He just goes, I know. It's because I said I won't give up. And it's not that, but it's funny.
Right. It's comedy. It's a joke.
Yeah. So Jiro. Let's talk about Jiro, shall we?
Let's do it.
In the game, Jiro is Shu's best friend. He is the serious, studious member of the group. He's quite quiet, but he's still very friendly.
Mm-hmm.
In this,
He's a bastard.
he is a less likable Shadow the Hedgehog. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, he's super angsty. He's like, always on the brink of using my powers.
Yeah, his face is always in a deep scowl. Let me find some artwork of him from the game. I guess in a lot of the 2D art from the game, he is in a deep scowl, but it looks like it's because he's thinking rather than because he's furious about everything.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I don't recognize this character. This character who is basically like the I'm trying to think what's like a tropey similar character to what he is.
I don't know, because like it sounds like he was meant to be the Cheval, but Cheval is more similar to him as he is in the game. This character is no one.
He's just angry. I don't know. He throws some insults at Shu for no real reason.
I mean, Shu did try to assault him with a stick.
Well, no, he didn't yet. He just called out to him.
He didn't yet.
Well, he was gonna, but all he had done is call out to him at this point.
Well, to be fair, Shu did spend the whole time saying that he's a weak-looking wiener.
He said that after Jiro threw a bunch of insults at him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Because Jiro is just like talking about Shu's breeding or whatever, and then Shu is like, you look too weak to be the Night Master anyway. And then when he's called weak, Jiro has a flashback of a burning town and has some kind of rage breakdown.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, so Jiro is played by Daisuke Namikawa, who, strangely, is the voice of King Jibral in the game, but does not play King Jibral in the show.
Okay.
King Jibral is in the show, but is not played by this guy, and he's playing Jiro instead.
Strange.
But he is known for being the voice of Lucario and Mimikyu in the Pokemon series and Smash Brothers.
Mimikyu.
He is Goemon in Lupin the Third. He is the Japanese voice of Luca in Bayonetta, so both voices of Luca are in this show. He's the protagonist of Persona 4. He played Prosecutor Sadmadi in Ace Attorney.
Oh, okay.
And he is usually the dub voice for Elijah Wood.
Okay.
And then in English, Jiro is played by Sam Riegel, who also played King Jibral in the game, but doesn't play him in the show.
What is happening in this casting?
I wonder if this one was a mix-up. They got both the original voices for King Jibral to play Jiro.
King Jiro, is it? Ah, yes. Let's bring him in.
He was also the original voice of Tristan in Yu-Gi-Oh! For about 10 episodes.
Before the infamous voice switch.
Yes, which I only know about from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, but I know about. He was also Donatello in the 4Kids Ninja Turtles show. He played Tenderfeet in the 2017 DuckTales show. That's a Bigfoot that scams them. His real name is Gavin. And he was the voice of Phoenix Wright in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice.
Cool.
Angry Jiro starts to summon his Minotaur shadow.
We don't know that's what it is.
I know that's what it is, and I'm so confused that he has it already.
Well, because he's lived an entirely different life where his village burned down and he met the pirate queen.
I know. Yeah, Zola stops him because he's being an idiot. She is objectively right.
Yeah.
So Shu attacks Zola and she parries it, which convinces him that she's the Night Master.
Despite several times saying she is not.
Yeah. And this is basically where the idea of a Night Master stops mattering. And I don't know if it's something that will ever come up again over the course of the show.
It doesn't seem to be important.
It was an extremely flimsy excuse to get Shu to go to town and start hitting people.
Right.
So yeah, she says that she's not the Night Master and that she's not necessarily on his side even. But she gets interested when she finds out his age. He says he's 10, right?
That sounds familiar.
I'm pretty sure he said he's 10, which in the game he's, I'm pretty sure in the game he's 16. So they didn't change his design any, but
he looks like a teeny tiny boy.
He does.
I believe he's 10.
He does. So we see a ship flying, and it's full of human soldiers, and it's got Nene's logo on the side of it, and they've all got it on their armors. Again, as a fan of the game, this was really weird. Nene's soldiers are all robots in the game. I don't know why humans would join him, or why he'd want them to, but
I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is that in the game, or at least in the first game, I don't believe robots are capable of summoning shadows because they don't have souls.
Mm-hmm.
They can summon them in the second game because of something that happens, I think.
They
I don't know.
acquire souls.
I
They
think so.
unlock Kingdom Hearts and get their souls back.
I think there is something about like finding a way to give souls to the robots, but I don't know because I never finished the second game. I should. But yeah, so that's the justification I can think of, is that he started recruiting humans because they can use shadows. Because these guys do have special armor on that lets them summon shadows, as we'll see later.
Okay.
But it was just jarring. And also meant that we don't get to see the Mecha Robo Core in this episode, although the preview for the next episode did show them, so I guess they're gonna be there.
Name is familiar because I remember you sent me that song
Their
like
theme
20
song.
years ago.
Yeah, because it's my favorite song in the game. I love the Mecha Robocore. Yes, we only see one member of it, which is Zabo in this episode. Everybody go look up Mecha Robocore Charge from the Blue Dragon soundtrack. It's a great piece
Or
of
else
music.
Mike is gonna send it to you unbidden.
Like I did to Mal.
So many songs. I'm like, I've never played this game. What is this? And now they just live in my brain forever.
Because they're good songs. So Jiro's at the entrance to some ruins. Zola is inside the ruins looking at a mural about the legend of the Blue Dragon. And she opens a secret room. Again, this is all anime-only stuff.
Yeah.
There is no special legend about the Blue Dragon in the game.
This whole scene was just confusing and weird.
Yeah. It's funny because this show is really trying to make the Blue Dragon special. It's trying to make it like the Toothless of the show.
Right, the nine-tailed fox of Naruto.
Yeah, but in the game there isn't really anything that makes Shu's shadow in particular special among all the other shadows.
Yeah.
It's just one of the shadows.
It's just Shu uses it better.
Well, not even that. He's like equal to the others. Shu's relaxing with his friends as the ship appears. And it launches two little ships. These are what the land shark is.
Oh.
So they do reference the land shark. And one of them even does what the land shark does. It tunnels into the ground and starts smashing the buildings with its fin sticking out of the ground. That's what the land shark was doing in the game. So they at least like have referenced it.
Yeah, but that makes this even more confusing.
Yeah.
Like, the land shark exists in this universe, but they didn't use it for the purpose of the land shark.
No, they didn't use it. And it's so much more interesting. Like, I'm going to have to show you the opening cutscene of the game at some point. Because it draws you in. I went to double check it just to be like, maybe it's not as good as I remember, but it draws you in so much better than this does in such a like quick and simple way. Because it literally just opens with everybody running to this like high platform that they've built to hide on when the land shark shows up.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you're playing as Shu's grandfather, who doesn't even seem to be in this show at all. And he's looking for Shu as like everybody's running to this high platform, and then you just kind of talk to everybody and you get the information about, the land shark is here. This is a thing that happens every year. And you're just walking around trying to find Shu, and then you see him down on the sand because it's like a desert village.
Right.
And he and his friends are like trying to do this trap. It's just so much better than what we got here.
Than assaulting strangers at the market.
Yeah, and then these soldiers come down. The leader's driving a hilarious tiny tank.
Like DDD.
That's the wild thing, is that it's even more cartoony than DDD's tank. It's supposed, like, DDD's tank is a comedy tank, and this one's sillier. So apparently they've been ordered not to kill the children, but anyone else who defies them is fair game.
I love that, like, they specifically keep using the word defy, and the village elder's like, let's do what they say, let's not defy them. And then Zola uses her shadow to destroy something. And the guy's like, they've defied us, kill them all!
Yeah. Also, I didn't understand why she did that.
Yeah.
So when the village starts being attacked by these soldiers, Shu goes to find Zola and tries to bring them back to help fight off the soldiers. But Zola's just not interested. She says it's not their problem. And then, so Shu runs away to, like, try and do something himself. But then the next thing we see is Zola back at the village. And yeah, she uses her shadow to destroy the tank, but I don't know why.
No.
She says, like, the time desires chaos or something.
Yeah, I didn't understand it at all.
No.
In retrospect, I was like, maybe she was trying to do something to fulfill this prophecy to bring about the blue dragon, but it's never made clear.
That would probably be the most sense-makey solution.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's what it is. Maybe she
'Cause, like,
suspected that Shu had the blue dragon and she was trying to cause a ruckus so that he'd be forced to fight. And
yeah. When she sees that the village elder refuses to put up a fight, she's like, well, fine, I'll do it.
yeah. That would probably make sense. That has to be what it is, I think. So when the soldiers try to arrest Shu and his friends, Kluk pulls out a gun and starts firing little pink fists at them.
Fists! It was so stupid, I laughed.
Do you want to know what Kluk does to fight before she gets her shadow in the game?
Yes.
She throws rocks. That's it. She just picks up rocks and throws them.
I mean, it makes sense. It's not as good as a pink fist gun.
No. Yeah, the 3 no-name kids all get captured along with Kluk, but Shu bit a soldier, and the soldier wants to beat on him a little bit to punish him for it, so that happens.
Yeah.
And we see Zola's shadow for, like, a moment. She shoots down the one land shark that's not in the land. And then we get a glimpse of the killer bat shadow from the game.
Mm-hmm.
And she disarms a bunch of the soldiers with her sword. She just kind of cuts their guns up.
Yeah, not them, but their guns.
And Jiro comes in, and he just effortlessly beats up the soldier who was kicking Shu's ass. Just, like, completely, like it was nothing.
Yeah, he's our nothing personnel, Shadow the Hedgehog.
In the game, Jiro is by far the weakest member of the starting party. Maybe of the whole party.
Yeah, because he's a wimpy nerd. What's he gonna do, read at us?
His default class is White Mage, to give you an idea of
Okay.
of what his fighting ability is like.
He's a healer.
Yeah, so this was weird. The party healer just comes in and shows up the party fighter in battle. But Jiro knows who these people are. He says it's the Grand Kingdom, which are Nene's soldiers. That's real. That's a real thing in the game. But the Grand Kingdom soldiers are all robots in the game.
Maybe they will become robots once Dr. Eggman gets his hands on them.
Now you're writing crossover fan fiction. The leader of the soldiers, who as far as I'm aware is not named at any point.
No.
He tells Zola he's heard of her, and he summons his shadow, which is a goblin?
Yeah, he calls it Goblin.
Yeah, and Zola summons her killer bat shadow to fight him, so this is our first This is our first real look at shadows. But the soldier has a conversation with his shadow.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Because that's not a thing that ever happens in the game.
Okay.
So maybe I'm wrong about this, but my understanding of the shadows in the game is that they are not separate entities from their summoners.
Okay, because this anime really implies that it's just like a dragon attached to a boy.
Yes. My understanding, from having 100%ed this game, my understanding is that the shadow is just a manifestation of the will of the summoner.
Yes.
So Shu's shadow is a dragon because that's just what he is like on the inside.
Right.
I was so confused when the shadows started talking. They never talk in the game.
Yeah, that would be my takeaway from that too, then. If you go an entire game and a shadow never speaks.
Yeah, get it. But apparently all the shadows do have voice actors in this show. So, interesting.
Okay.
I think Goblin's the only one who actually talked in this episode, but I guess we've got that to look forward to.
Oh boy.
I think they really wanted to make the shadows into Pokemon for this show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from it. Because I
Or
never...
Digimon.
Yeah.
So they have their little complimentary buddy.
Yeah, so the shadows are more like sidekicks than they are like the person who's summoning them manifest. Right. The land shark tries to ambush Zola, but Killer Bat cuts it in half. And then Goblin's firing beams. Killer Bat blocks the beam, reflects it at a mountain, and then there's like a rock slide falling down toward the village. Also, I want to talk about the village for a second.
Yeah.
In the game, Shu and his friends are from a place called Talta Village, which is an extremely small desert village that the main feature of it is a windmill in the middle on a hill.
Okay, because they kept referring to this city as a village the entire show. I'm like,
And the central feature of it here is this huge ornate church.
Yeah.
There's no church in Talta Village in the game that I remember. And if there was...
There are no gods in Blue Dragon.
Yeah. Oh, you think that's what it is? I think they just, like, wanted to incorporate God, the God that created the light in some way, so they made it a church instead of a windmill.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
There's a lot that's different here. I don't think the village elder has the same design as the elder from the game. Shu's grandfather, again, just missing. I don't think he appears in the show at all. Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of strange choices. Also, like,
yeah.
I feel like it's implied that Jiro's parents are dead.
Since he's traveling with this strange woman.
Yeah, and the flashback he had of like a burning town, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Which is funny because he's the only one whose parents are alive in the game.
Right.
We don't know if Kluk and Shu's parents are alive in the show or not. They just aren't mentioned, at least
They're
yet.
just feral children.
Yeah. I guess most of the time it doesn't really matter in an anime like this, does it?
No.
Oh, wait, does it? Maybe it does. I say that, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute. We saw Ash's mom. All the kids in Digimon, their parents are very prominent. Oh, well, anyway. Anyway, Shu runs in to try and, like, protect people from this rock slide. Jiro says, don't, you idiot. What are you gonna do?
Get dead?
Yeah. But then, just as he gets under the rocks, he manifests his blue dragon shadow somehow.
Well, because earlier in the episode, Zola asked him, like, what would he do with that power? He's like, I don't know, I'm 10 years old. And so, as he's diving under these rocks... As he's diving under these rocks, we hear it in his head again, and he's like, I want to protect my friends. And then the dragon emerges.
So, I don't know where this dragon came from.
Okay.
Because in the game, after stopping the land shark, you and your friends kind of bust it. But then it reactivates while you're standing on it, and it flies up to Nene's ship, which is hidden in the clouds. Nobody's ever seen it because it's been hidden in the clouds. And while you're up there, one of the things that happens is that they find these balls of light suspended in this machine, and they take them. And then a mysterious voice keeps telling them to eat them.
I was gonna say eat them as a joke.
And eventually they cave and eat them. And then that bestows the shadow magic upon them.
Okay.
And it's only after eating those light spheres that they're able to summon shadows. In this, it seems like the shadows are just like inherent, and anyone can just have one if they, I don't know, believe hard enough or something.
Yeah, the shadows were inside us all along.
I don't know. It's different. Different and weird.
I don't like different.
I would have liked different if it was better, you know?
Yeah, I'm kidding, because I didn't super love this episode.
No. What did you think of the ending song?
Hey girl, そんなに沈んでないでsmile.
I liked it better than the intro song.
Me too. The animation in it was really nice. It was like better animated than the actual show was.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the budget for that animation ran out halfway through.
Yeah.
Did you notice that too?
Yes.
Because about halfway through, it just starts showing rotating 3D models of the vehicles, which were all from the game, and then it repeats some of the earlier animation.
Yeah.
And then it just ends with a very slow zoom out of a still image of all the group together. So it's like, oh, you got some really... when it first started, I was like, wow, this animation's really nice. And I started paying attention to it. And then all of that started happening. And I was like, you couldn't afford too much of that nice animation, could you?
Yeah, when it started rotating through, I was like, okay. I think I saw this already.
Yeah. Well, that's everything I have to say. That's everything I have to say about the Japanese version.
Uh-oh, what did they do in English?
Well, first of all, before we get into anything else, I need you to hear the English theme song.
Uh-oh. It's not for kids, is it?
It's not, but it is Cartoon Network.
Oh boy, what is this?
Awakening me, a storm that set free. We are unstoppable. Together we'll never fall. Darkness surrounds us, no backing down. No place to hide, just reach inside. Together we'll never fall.
Okay. This is some primo anime butt rock.
It's so of its time, isn't it?
It sure is.
It put me right back to 2006.
We're finally adapting anime, but we're gonna America it.
So this aired on Cartoon Network on March 28th, 2008, more than 6 months after the game was released in the US.
It's about the same as it was with the Japanese.
Yeah, but I guess it feels weirder. I mean, I don't know. I guess they need the time to do the dubbing and everything, but why wouldn't you want the release to match up? You know, you would.
Yeah, but it was also 2006, and they hadn't quite worked that stuff out yet.
Yeah, it's true.
We
That's
still
true.
weren't getting universal Pokemon releases by then.
Oh, we still aren't now, I don't think.
It's better. It's still like within days, I think.
Oh,
Or
you
like
mean
a
of the
week.
games? I'm
Yeah.
talking about like in Japan. a new series of Pokemon always coincides with the release of a new game.
Mhm.
But we don't get it in English until like a year after the game's been out, I feel like.
No, I'm talking about the games.
Yeah, I guess if you compare it to how Pokemon does with the anime matching up with the game releases, this is still better, I think. Anyway, yes, the entire episode has a new soundtrack, which has quite a different vibe from the original.
No.
It had a little bit of an F-Zero feel to me.
F-Zero!
Yeah, which was odd.
Kluke speeding around on her F-Zero racer.
For the most part, it was pretty accurate, but I did notice some notable censorship. So remember when Kluke was firing her fist gun at the soldiers?
Yeah.
There's the shot where the soldier kind of runs in and knocks it out of her hand.
Yeah.
They censored the impact. So
Okay.
So
no child hitting.
Yeah, she is holding it and firing, and then the screen just goes black with an impact star on it, and Nene's logo is in the impact star. And then it just cuts to the gun landing on the ground.
Do they censor Shu getting beat up by that guy at all?
Oh, yeah. So the first time he hits him, they did the same thing, and they inserted a comedy bonk sound.
All right.
So instead of just in fact, so for people listening, here's the Japanese impact of Shu getting hit. And here's the American one.
You rotten little punk!
Boy, oi, oi.
Yeah. It's like there's clearly a musical instrument in there for the American one.
A slide whistle.
And yeah, once they take the others away and the soldier says... They left in the part where the soldier says he wants to further discipline Shu. But they cut, like, all of that actual beating.
Yeah.
They did leave in... They clearly accidentally left in a couple frames.
Uh-oh.
So when the soldier is standing over Shu and, like, grinning down at him right before he starts kicking him, they left in a couple frames of him raising his leg to kick him, but then he just like snaps back to standing.
Like he thought better of it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to stomp this child.
Yeah, so all that's left in of the beating is like the final is Shu being thrown across the ground after the final hit. But there's quite an extended beating in the Japanese version that was cut out.
Yeah?
Also, when Shu is lying on the ground, in the Japanese version, a soldier marches by in the foreground, holding a child at gunpoint with the gun like right against the child's head, basically.
Right?
That shot is still there, but the foreground characters are missing from the English version.
Oh no.
They obviously didn't want to have a soldier pointing a gun at a child's head in the show.
Yeah. A little too much child violence for the Western audience.
Yeah. Apparently there are 2 versions of this dub that exist. I was not able to verify this. I don't know if it's true. But places on the internet were saying that there is a version that uses these voices, but with all of the original Japanese music, including the opening and ending themes, and all of the cut parts restored, but still with English voices. This is super hard to verify because apparently the only way this was ever released was on DVD in the UK.
Well, there you go. You better start thrifting.
So I don't know if it's true. There is an uncut version of the show that's on some streaming services now, but I went on to Tubi to check it out, and it seems to just be a subtitled Japanese version, so...
Oh, okay.
It's not that version. If that version even exists.
Right. But why would the internet lie?
Blue Dragon information on the internet is quite sparse. It wasn't massively successful.
No, I keep forgetting it even exists as a series.
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing, because it was successful enough that it got 2 game sequels.
Yeah.
But then it's just been dead ever since, which is a shame, because I liked it.
Not enough to finish the second game or know about the third, but
Shut up. I'll finish it.
the legacy, you hear me asking?
I did hear that. And I did go digging because I was since there are these 2 sequels for the DS, I was wondering if they included anything from the show into the games.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look like it.
Oh, wah wah.
The 2 game sequels just follow the plot of the first game, and they don't seem to have adopted any of the show's exclusive characters. Because from what I saw of the third one, a new mechanic in the third one is that shadows are like changeable now. You can equip different shadows to different people, which means there are more shadows.
I don't like my shadow. I'm gonna put on some boots and change it.
Yeah, I don't really like that idea, but that made me wonder if like maybe that goblin made it into the game, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it. And I know there are a couple anime exclusive main characters who weren't in this episode but are in later ones, and they didn't make it into the games either. So, but there is one legacy of this show, which is that it got a sequel show.
Really?
Yes, called Blue Dragon Trials of the Seven Shadows, which has another
Okay.
51 episodes on top of the 51 that this
Jeez.
show had. So this show must have been like at least partially successful if they made a sequel series.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get it because it's not very good.
No, it's pretty generic.
Yeah, maybe it gets better. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a shame. It's a shame because I love the game. But then, like, if this followed the plot of the game exactly, I think I'd be bored by it too.
Yeah.
In the same way that I find the Phoenix Wright show kind of boring.
Yeah, maybe. That's the thing about any kind of adaptation. You can't always just do a line by line adaptation. You have to find a way to adapt it to whatever medium you're using.
Yeah. If this show were itself a sequel to the game, I think I'd enjoy it more.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the Ace Attorney anime as well. I really wish the Ace Attorney anime was just new cases written for the anime.
Yeah.
And they could, because I feel like enough people know about Ace Attorney that they could just be like, if you want to know who these characters are, buy Ace Attorney Trilogy, available on all platforms.
Was it available on all platforms then? It took them a while to really start adapting it
Yeah,
outside of the 3DS.
I suppose so. I think you could get it on. I think you could already get it on phones.
Yeah, you could get it through Apple,
Yeah.
I think. But it wasn't on Steam yet. It wasn't on the Switch.
Yeah. And Blue Dragon's not on any of those things, so
No, it's practically lost media.
Blue Dragon. I'm surprised to learn that you can still buy it on the Xbox store. To be honest.
Happy but surprised.
Yeah, I would love it if they ported it to Steam because they've been doing that a lot lately. But realistically, I don't think Blue Dragon is successful enough that they would bother.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But who knows? I don't know. I don't think many of Mistwalker's other things have had TV shows. Maybe it is their most successful game.
Start a petition.org to bring back Blue Dragon.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this?
Nope.
No, me neither, really.
I didn't really care for the show, but upon hearing you talk about the game, I am still interested in that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I love the game. Everybody go play the Blue Dragon video game. Watch the show if you want, but don't expect. It was so funny looking at the fan. Blue Dragon has a wild fan wiki, as does any fairly obscure thing. And it was so funny looking at the wiki articles, trying so hard to treat both things as equally canon
Yeah.
when they are so contradictory to each other. Because they have to reconcile the fact that Jiro doesn't know Shu at the beginning of the show, and Jiro's parents are dead. But then at the beginning
Right.
of the game, he does know Shu, and his parents are alive. So you can't even say his parents died, like, after that point, because it clearly would have to come before that point.
Right.
But actually, the real answer is that it just doesn't make any sense, and they are two entirely separate continuities
Yep.
that cannot be reconciled. here is the opening of the game. It's like this is an all cutscenes thing, but nobody had a video that was just the beginning.
Right. Ominous violet clouds. I don't know why it feels weird to see them as 3D models. Like,
yeah, because you're not used to it.
Yeah, seeing Akira Toriyama art in general in 3D, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, they look good. I'm not trying to say they don't. It's just strange.
Yeah. There are some faces that feel a little pinched in 3D, I think.
Yeah.
Where they don't in 2D.
Yeah, this is already 1,000 times more engaging, because it presents us with a mystery and something dangerous.
Yeah, it throws us right into the action.
Yeah. Instead of having an opening about, God made the earth, and then he put darkness in it. Just talk about the violet clouds.
And even like opening immediately with seeing the main characters actually struggling against something instead of just hitting strangers in a town. Yeah, the dynamic between Shu and Jiro is like entirely different.
Mm-hmm. Since they actually like each other.
Yeah, they're actually friends. Do you see what I mean about Jiro's face though?
Yeah.
The difference in his expression between the game and the show. He's got steep eyebrows in the game, but he doesn't look furious.
Right. He doesn't look like he's angry.
Yeah.
Who is this character? I don't recognize her. She's wearing black.
I think she's supposed to be a girl, but it's hard to tell because she's wearing black.
Girls don't wear black. This is the beginning of Monster Hunter 4.
I was just thinking, when they set the trap, I was like, that kind of looks like a Monster Hunter trap.
To catch Darren Moran.
It kind of looks like the kind of thing you'd see in a Monster Hunter arena.
Right! Quick, fire the Dragonator! Drop the boulders!
Like, I guess there's some argument to be made that, like, you have to handle a show differently than you would handle an RPG game. Because a lot of RPGs open like this, where it just throws you into
that's
something.
what I was saying. Like, you have to be aware of the media that you're adapting.
Yeah,
and I just don't think they did it right.
No, and I don't understand why they changed it entirely.
Yeah, changed the plot and everything.
Yeah, right down to like everything. Everything's different. What's funny also is that there's that whole thing about Zole insisting that she's not a Knight Master.
Mm-hmm.
When you meet her in the game, she is literally the head of King Gibral's Knights. She is literally a Knight Master.
I do like that they assumed it was some kind of monster and then learned that it's a machine. Because you say land shark and I'm like, oh, it's like a dune worm.
Yeah, well, that's what they thought it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what the actual name of it is, because Nene doesn't call it a land shark.
Mm-hmm.
When Shu and his friends refer to it as the land shark to Nene, he's just like, oh, so that's what you call it in your world.
I just mean that when you brought up that in the anime, there were actually 2 land sharks in it, I'm like, what? That's a ship!
Yeah. You're supposed to think that it's a monster to begin with. And then it just lifts them up to Nene's fortress and they just confront the main villain immediately.
They fight the boss of the game and then it's over.
Yeah, if you beat it there, the game just ends.
Like how in Chrono Trigger, if you're over-leveled and you beat Lavos the first time you find him, it just ends.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Yeah, because you cheated.
Because I cheated. Because I didn't... It was one of the first RPGs I'd ever played that wasn't Pokemon. I didn't have the patience for it at the time. It might have been the first traditional RPG I ever played, actually.
Do you count Pokemon as a traditional RPG?
No.
Well, then it might have been the first one I played, too. But I still beat it like a normal boy.
That's because you weren't emulating it, I'm assuming.
I was emulating it.
Oh, okay.
We never had a Super Nintendo.
All right. Well, then I guess you were just more patient than I was.
I mean, that's always been true.
Yeah.
How long am I watching this for?
You don't have to keep watching it unless you want to.
No,
You've seen the opening.
I only wanted you to watch 1 minute, and I just didn't stop you.
Well, basically. No, just until like you had seen the main stuff, you know.
I saw it. I saw the land shark.
I think that's way more of an interesting way to start a story.
Yeah. I don't even think that would have been impossible to make a straight adaptation.
No. I think maybe they would have wanted to show a little bit more of like life beforehand.
Yeah.
They could have just like opened with the kids preparing the trap. I don't know, that would have been boring too. Just do the same thing. Let me be bored because I've already seen it rather than bored because it's boring.
Uninterested.
Yeah. That's the problem. Like with the Ace Attorney show, I find it boring because I've already seen it, because I've already
Right.
played it. With this, I found it boring because it was just genuinely boring.
Yeah.
Because that's what I always say about the Ace Attorney show. I think that show's probably good if you haven't played the game.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to judge because I have played the game. And whenever I watch that show, I'm just reminded that I'm not playing the game, which is more fun. But with this, I know that's not the problem because this is so divorced from the game. But I guess I do still have that. I guess I am still judging it with the like knowledge of the game, which is better. So, but you're
Yeah.
not.
No. I thought we were still talking about Phoenix Wright for a split second. My mind
No,
was like,
it's
I've played those games.
No, it's talking about Blue Dragon now.
Yeah, no, I was just bored by the anime.
Yeah, okay. So it's not just because I've seen the game before.
No. Because the anime is nothing like the intro to the game.
No.
It
And
stands
even the
alone.
characters' personalities are different
Yeah.
in ways that I don't find to be improvements.
No.
Like I really didn't like Jiro in the anime.
He's a little shit.
Yeah, it's like they were trying really hard to make him cool, but they just made him insufferable.
Yeah.
What do you think your shadow would be?
I think it would just be a large shadow. Just an amorphous dark blob. Just darkness itself. Formless and terrifying. Either that or a bunny.
Oh no, I'm having the bunny. Get out of here.
No.
That's what I was gonna say.
Why would yours be a bunny?
I like bunny smell.
I also like bunnies, Mike.
All right, fine. We would just have one shadow between us, I think.
Stop trying to take my shadow away from me. We can't share everything.
We don't need to. Just give me it.
Just because you're jealous of my big bunny.
You ate both light spheres.
I was hungry. I didn't know I was only supposed to eat one.
Don't you know when someone hands you candy, you're supposed to take two? One for now and one for later?
One for now and one for when I finish that one.
Oh, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Tell us what your shadow would be.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. If you would like to support our show further, you could head to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and join our other club VIPs, Jamie Core and our new club VIP, Mark Kelly.
Whoa, Mark!
Mark, also known as FryGuy64, is an old friend of mine.
Oh, that's who it is.
Yeah. Do you know? I've definitely talked to you about Fry Guy, and I've definitely sent you things that Fry Guy has said about our show at different times.
I feel like I've been aware of Fry Guy for 20 years, but I've never had any means to interact with him before.
Fry Guy's known me since I was a dumb idiot child on the internet, learning how to interact with people for the first time. In fact, way back
Wild.
when I joined some of my first... One of the first forums I was ever on was Nintendo database,
I remember those days.
of which Fry Guy is the owner. So
Oh.
so yeah, thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
What else? Coffee. We need to do something with the coffee.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know what coffee is. I don't know what coffee does. I don't know what its purpose is.
I have now learned that you can have a store on coffee because one of my friends, Curios Ghosty, who was actually on the show, has a store on coffee. And I bought some stickers on it and a charm.
Well, then we gotta start
We
sticking.
gotta start sticking. Make that coffee worth coughing at.
I've done some sticks, they just don't stick yet.
Yeah, I can make them stick. I was actually looking. I don't know where I saved them. Do you still have them?
Of course I still have them. I didn't just delete them from my computer after I drew
I
them.
gotta get them from you again because I was looking for them. I was trying to make something that I needed them for the other day and then I couldn't find them.
Why is there so much weird shit on my computer that I've drawn?
Said every artist ever.
Well, there you go. Those are the stickers.
Alright, sweet. I forgot how good they are.
They're so
They're
stupid.
great. I love them.
That's because you like stupid things. We've discussed this.
Well, yeah, I like you.
Shut up.
You shut up. We love you, everybody. We'll be back again soon.
Shut up, everybody.
Goodbye.
We can't just force it. It has to be organic. Organic stupid grown from our brain.
Organic, wholemeal, farm-raised stupid.
Free range stupid.